Hello everyone, welcome to this week's video. Today we're gonna go over the elections that were recently held in the UK. There were municipal elections in England and parliamentary elections in Scotland and Wales. But in this video, I'm just going to be concentrating on England. So it was a big news story in America and Western countries because the biggest winner of all the parties was Reform UK, which is a populist right-wing party. If you look at the map, you can see they won all over England, northwest, south and east, and they even won their first ever borough in London. So the white parts of the map are where elections were not being held, and then the deeper the blue, the more support Reform UK had in those areas. And similar to the American Senate, only about a third of all cities have elections every 2 years. So this is a picture of Nigel Farage. He is the leader of Reform UK, and they got about 27% of the national vote, and which is a little under 32%, which they got in 2025. So if you consider that there are 5 competitive parties currently in England, that's a pretty good percentage. So what is Reform's UK fighting for? Of course, since they're right-wing, they are anti-immigration. They even want to limit legal immigration more. They want to lower taxes and have smaller government, which means less money for social welfare programs. And of course, they're big on identity politics, dehumanizing immigrants, and they like to say they're the real British people. So let's look at this graph here. So in England, the Labour Party, which is the center-left big tent party, kind of like the Democrats in America, and the Conservative Party, which is center-right big tent, similar to the Republican Party in America. And on the graph, they are the blue and red lines. They have dominated England for over 100 years. This graph is just over the last 5 years. But as you can see, the red and blue lines have been declining since 2024. And the light blue line is the right-wing Reform Party. As you can see, they've been surging in popularity since 2024. And the Green Party, which is the left-wing party, has been surging since last year. The Liberal Democrats, which are a center-right, very pro-business party, they're the orange line. They've been having kind of slow but steady growth, as you can see. So the current government is a Labour-run government. So usually when a party loses big in a parliamentary system, the Prime Minister resigns. But Keir Starmer, the current Prime Minister, said he will not resign. Uh, Many in his party have privately told him to please consider doing it. And one of his cabinet ministers, the health minister, Wes Streeting, he resigned because he felt Starmer should have resigned. So let's look at why Labour lost so big. The biggest factor is economic frustration. So ever since the financial crisis of 2008, 2009, they've had a really slow economic growth. And of course, because of the recent Iran war, they've had really high inflation. Another thing people point to is Starmer has no charisma. He's a very dull speaker and he doesn't inspire anybody. And overall, Starmer's administration has tried to govern from the center, but that backfired. He just pissed off people on the left and people on the right. So voters on the left feel he broke his promises that he made during the 2020 leadership election for the party, in which he promised many liberal reforms. And then voters on the right don't like him because they think he's not tough enough on immigration, even though he has passed some more restrictions. Voters on the right also think he's going too fast on climate change policies. And many people, not just people on the right, think that he's too pro-EU. And they think if he stays in power much longer, he'll try to start talks with the EU to rejoin and reverse Brexit. So this means the Labour Party has to get a new leader. So the Labour Party recently settled on the current mayor of Manchester, Andy Burnham. But the rules in England say mayors cannot be prime ministers. You have to be a member of parliament. So he's going to run in a special election in Makersfield, which is on the western outskirts of Greater Manchester. As you can see, Manchester's in northwest England. And it's thought that he will easily win that election. So let's look at why Burnham is so popular. So unlike Starmer, he's very authentic and he has some charisma. Unlike many politicians in England, he's not interested in party politics. He only concentrates on fighting for Manchester. And one of his main things is devolution. So asking London to give cities more autonomy, more power. And he's been slightly successful on that, especially in transportation. And some people call him the king of the North, or probably his supporters, because during coronavirus, he fought for more financial aid for the North. He had to do that because Boris Johnson's administration was very London-centric. So the last main reason he's very popular is that he's middle class. He has a middle class accent. He doesn't talk in a posh accent, and he's a football fan. So most people think he's an everyman. Yeah, so now let's look at an interview with Andy Burnham on the BBC talking about these issues that I just went over.
There's growth, but it hasn't been spectacular for a decade and a half now since the financial crisis. People are looking at Manchester, looking at the numbers, looking at the number of cranes, and thinking something's happening. Obviously, you're going to say yes, of course there is, but like, what tangibly can you point to, and how much could this be some sort of lesson for the rest of the country?
So we've had a decade of devolution in Greater Manchester, and in that decade, we have had, on average, roughly double the UK growth rate, average annual growth of 3%. And it's because with that ability to do more for ourselves, to set an ambition for ourselves, we've really kind of pulled this place together. And increasingly, it is a success story that people are buying into. You know, when we kind of were in the last century, if you like, Whitehall of Westminster had no ambition for Greater Manchester. It didn't kind of set a vision for us. And it's only with devolved power that we've been able to do that and say, no, we can be much better than this and than what the kind of national level thinks. And this has been done, we've done this ourselves, and not me, but people before me who built Greater Manchester into what it is. And it's a really exciting place to be. And the interesting thing is what the next decade may hold for us on the back of what we've already built.
So let me kick the tires there on this sort of causality. This is quite important if this is to be a lesson. So can you draw a line between the extra powers you've got? I mean, in your own telling of the story, those powers have been more modest than you would have liked. You know, the biggest power has been over, I know, transport, bus networks and things like that. You haven't had a huge amount of borrowing power. So how can it be that it's really down to those powers, down to some of your decisions?
Well, it's about the power of the place before it's about the powers given to us by government. You know this place. It was bidding for the Olympics in the late 1980s. And, you know, has always kind of believed that this place could be more than it was in the last century. It could be more in this century than it was then. And it's been built on that principle going forward. And the power comes from the partnership between the public sector, the private sector, the community voluntary sector, our universities. This place moves as one, and it's an incredible, awesome power when it's really, you know, fully deployed. And we've set an ambition for a re-industrialised Greater Manchester, an innovation-led, research-driven economy, and our universities have played such a huge role in that. I put out a plan recently for that re-industrialisation based around 5 key sectors: creative media, digital and tech, life sciences, advanced materials and manufacturing, and clean energy. The key thing is we already have 5 physical clusters for those industries, either in existence now or being built. And this vision is getting stronger and stronger all of the time. And it's one that we've built ourselves. You know, we set this ambition in a way that the country didn't have an ambition for the North in the last period. Well, we've used devolved power to do that. And is it replicable to other places? Of course it is. And you can see that. You can see Liverpool beginning to achieve a growth rate that's higher than the UK average.
And while the Labour Party is busy finding a new leader or installing Burnham as leader, they're also going to have an internal debate on how they want to govern. So my guess is they're probably going to veer to the left because Burnham is to the left side of the Labour Party. And they're going to try to get back some of the left voters that abandoned Labour for the Green Party. So now let's look at the Green Party, which took many voters away from Labour. Yeah, this is a picture of Zach Polanski, the popular leader of the Greens. So looking at what the Green Party supports, they support a wealth tax on billionaires. Yeah, in America, New York City and California recently passed these. They're also for rent control uh, and more affordable housing, which is very important in the UK and America, and more rules against evicting tenants. Another part of their platform is renationalizing the water system. So in 1989, Margaret Thatcher privatized the water system, but it has not gone well. There have been sewage spills in lakes and and rivers. Their executives have been paid too much, and of course there are steadily rising bills for consumers. So let's look at how these insurgent parties can become so popular and get so much power so quickly. So if you see here, this is the first past the post system. So the losers get nothing. So even if your party got 20% of the vote, that 20% counts for nothing later when they apportion seats. Also, there's no runoff. So unlike France and America, where you have to get 50% plus one, in England, even if you get 25%, if you got the most votes, you win. So, yeah, there's no big barriers to new parties gaining power quickly in the UK. And yeah, this is not surprising, really. The traditional parties are struggling in many countries, many parts of the world. In France, the current president Macron is very unpopular, and the National Rally, right-wing populist party, is leading in the polls. In Germany, you have the Alternative for Germany, which won some governorships and city councils in East Germany. Some of their members have ties to neo-Nazi groups. In Italy, you have the Meloni administration, which is right-wing, very anti-immigrant, anti-LGBTQ. And of course, there's America. Trump's MAGA movement has pushed the Republican Party even further to the right on many issues. And the Democratic Party in America, the most popular candidates are in the social democrat realm. So they're kind of pushing the Democratic Party to the left. And even here in Japan, which is mostly a one-party state, the Liberal Democratic Party has ruled since World War II with just 2 short breaks. But again, even in Japan, right-wing anti-immigrant parties are gaining in popularity. So the current government, which is center-right, they've been passing a lot of rules and increasing costs for immigrants, which I know firsthand. So what's happening in England is, like I said, not really surprising. So my takeaway of all this is, or my positive takeaway of all this is, I'm happy that people in these countries know that big change is needed, that the current form of capitalism, the current form of globalism is not working for most people. So that's a good thing. But unfortunately, blaming immigrants for everything is, of course, not correct and not the way to go. So if you like today's video, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, please use the comments below. Thank you.